Hi, can I get a photo of you? Can I please take a selfie with you? Can you sign this book for me?
Have you ever wished to be famous? There's absolutely no shame about this. I've wanted to become famous from a young age in my teenage years, and I began a whole journey of pursuing fame because I thought that fame meant success. And while this was a great driving force in the beginning of my journey of following my passion and discovering myself, it soon became the very poison that started to kill me. I thought I had to be famous to be considered successful. And at the same time, a part of me didn't really want fame. This negative self-talk got stronger until I realized I was actually measuring everybody else around me through this lens as well. Basically equating everybody's worth to how much followers they had or how famous they were for the work that they were doing. And that's when I had an awakening. Fame is good, but famous for what? I realized fame without intention behind it is just a shell, and well, I want to live a great life and be more than just a shell. Watch this video to hear my 10 reasons for why you're lucky if you've not become famous yet. Disclaimer, I'm not saying fame is bad. It's definitely a great tool to promote a business or a message or a piece of work, but fame with no purpose seems like a burden. At least to me. So I hope this video takes some of this burden off of your shoulder. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Let's go.
So number one, you have the freedom to create whatever you want without having people's expectations weighing you down. Do you know how great it feels to wake up in the morning and be whoever you want and create whatever you want without having to explain to people why you're not creating the same style as before, why you're pivoting, why you've decided to take on this whole new personality? You're truly free. And I know that a lot of artists that have not become famous yet might see this as a weakness. But if you can actually twist it around and make it work in your favor and know that nobody knows your fucking name, so you're just free to create whatever you want, and whether it turns into a masterpiece or a piece of trash, nobody really cares because nobody knows your name anyways. So this gives you this huge feeling of lightness to follow your intuition and fuck around and find out, because when you become famous, it becomes a whole lot more difficult to experiment, and we'll get to that as well. Number two, your failures are small. No matter how rough the road of life gets for you, it's not like anyone's watching, so get up and move on. A lot of famous people fail in the public eye, and it takes a lot of shame for them to be able to own their mistakes and correct their ways. And yes, it takes a lot of rebranding to be able to reclaim themselves and revalidate themselves. I personally am not a fan of shaming or cancel culture, but boy, does it help to not be under a microscope all the time and to not constantly be under the eye of the public, waiting for you to make a mistake, waiting to criticize you. It's just a whole lot easier to not have to stress about making the wrong move. So let's just take a moment of gratitude for the freedom to make mistakes in this life. Number three is not having to deal with paparazzi, guys. Like, this is such a huge blessing that you don't have a bunch of weirdos following you around everywhere that you go. We've all seen these photos and footage of celebrities with their messy hair in their sweatpants trying to go to the grocery store, and they are never immune and safe from these cameras or these weirdos following them around. Some of them are not even doing it for money. They're just stalkers and weirdos trying to take advantage of people. So just imagine that if you became a mega celebrity, you wouldn't be able to travel this earth as freely as you could right now. You couldn't go to every corner that existed. You couldn't just take a free walk in the park during the day because you would need to have your bodyguards, and it would just cost you so much more to go to the park than it would an average person. So yes, the fame goes up, but the costs to maintain the fame and the safety of that famous person also rises. Can you see that? And I personally, I don't know if I'm ready to exchange this freedom of seeing the earth, because I am I'm in love with traveling. I just want to see every corner of this earth, go to every beach that exists, and a lot of these celebrities might not be able to do that without putting themselves in danger or having to spend so much money to bring a whole team that takes care of them, because unfortunately there are some vicious people out there who will kidnap you, or they will rob you, or they just want to chase you in order to get some kind of ransom at the end of the day. So that's unfortunate. That is a part of the dark side of humanity, but it exists. And right now, you as a non-famous person, you don't have to deal with that bullshit. So take advantage of this period of your life. Like, go travel the world, go be a stranger in new cities, and go talk to strangers, and go build these authentic bonds that you probably wouldn't be able to make if you were a mega celebrity. Number 4, it's less likely that you attract fake friends to yourself, because I know that we like to be optimistic, but if you don't really know the true intentions of people who are trying to approach you all the time, when you get to a status of high fame and success, life's gonna get hard and it's gonna feel lonely, and inevitably there will be people who are trying to sabotage you, who are trying to spy on you, maybe leak some information, or just simply take advantage of your position and your contacts and your power. So I personally wouldn't feel fulfilled in a relationship where I don't have full trust, where I'm not sure if people actually like me for myself or for the position I'm in. So this is a reminder for you to really soak in and be grateful for your relationships, even if it's just 1 or 2 people who deeply like you and they want to be associated with you regardless of whether you're famous or not. Number 5, it's easier for you to change your style, your genre, or your brand. For obvious reasons, right? People build a certain set of expectations from a brand, and if they want to move into a new direction, they have to do a lot more work than if they were a brand new clean slate. And obviously you want to get to a point where people's opinions of you doesn't really matter, and you just do whatever you want and you create however you want in this world. But there's no denying that having no expectations of you just makes it a whole lot easier. Number 7, fame has nothing to do with success and the amount of money that you actually make. Yes, I said it. If you actually want money or success or a rich lifestyle, an abundant lifestyle, it doesn't necessarily go through the path of fame. You guys, there's a lot of people out there who are famous but are bankrupt. These two are separate things, so get clear with yourself. In a lot of ways, if you actually stopped chasing fame and you started to put all of your focus into your personal goals, you might actually have more energy and more laser sharp focus to be able to achieve those goals without having to stress about how you look like in the public eye and what people are constantly thinking or saying about you. You know what I mean? Number 6, you can always go famous, but you can't really undo fame. So no matter what you've gone famous for, people are always going to remember it, and thanks to the internet nowadays, nothing is erasable from history. And this is not to scare you of fame, but it's just to give you this feeling of freshness that you can plan this whole thing out any way that you want, and it honestly, it doesn't take a lot to become famous. There's strategies you can do, there's like literally petty strategies, as well as noble ones, as well as strategies that just involve putting some ad budget and money behind it. So don't stress yourself out, but kind of like be in this relaxed space where you are actually in a position of power because you still haven't burned your cards or you haven't like done things that you regretted. I personally don't believe in guilt or shame or regret, but some things are just a little bit harder to get rid of if you have like a shady history. So it's never late to become famous. Number 8, people's eyes on you drains your energy. if you're not strong enough. This is an energetic talk, but have you ever had people, a room full of people, stare at you? Damn, it feels heavy. When you go to a place where you know people are constantly watching your every move, your mood changes. It's like inevitably you start to put on this guard and this mask, and you start to act because you're human and you don't want to be perceived in the wrong way. And we're all humans, and we do this all the time because we're not used to this, right? And yes, there might be some celebrities who at some point get used to this, but it's definitely not easy, and the chances that they've kept their authenticity regardless of all the eyes and the cameras that have been focused on them throughout their career are very slim. Number 9, you are able to experience the simple life, and let me tell you, it is delicious. Like, who told us that having a busy schedule with so many commitments and having to meet so many people was a sign of success? When you actually sit down and look at your priorities and your values, you realize that sometimes you just want to experience life for what it is, without having to put on a show or having to make your exterior look like this grand success, which is defined by everyone other than yourself. So there's actually immense value in being able to just do whatever you want at any point of the day that you want. When you have less commitments, then it's just easier for you to go about your life, live a simple life without having people's expectations of you on how you should look, you should act, or where you should be. Number 10, you are pure soul. When you give yourself an identity or a label, you're no longer pure soul, you are a persona. And personas can be somewhat dangerous in the way that they put us inside a cage. As a human with a soul, you want to be free. A free human likes to change their mind and travel like the wind and be in the current of life rather than be solid like a rock that has identity. So my friend, you can celebrate being a free, pure soul that can blow like the wind in any direction that you want. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I didn't say all of this to say that fame is bad or you shouldn't be famous. If it happens to you too, congratulations, I'm actually happy for you. But the point of this video is for you to get rid of the need to become famous. And I know that feeling, it burns inside, and if you also watch to this end of this video, you probably know that feeling too. It's this egotistical twist in your gut, and once you get rid of this desperation to be famous, it seems like you start to glow differently in the world. You become magnetic, and you start to understand that it's a privilege and honor for people to get to know you. And if they don't, well, it's their loss. You will be the party. So if you don't want to feel used by fame and you don't want to feel like a hollow shell, start to fill yourself from within. Fill your self-worth up to a point where you feel like a gem and you're shining, and therefore people are attracted to you. I've learned that the most important thing in this life, the reason why we're here, is to get to know ourselves, is to build an intimate relationship with ourselves. The relationship that we wish to have with a partner, with a friend, with our audience is actually what we are here to build with ourselves. We're here to give ourselves those validations and those intense feelings of love. So once you realize this, you realize that you were actually the one that everyone wants to be associated with, because you are the main character of your life. Who cares if, imagine if you had reached a level of intense fame, you were a mega celebrity, what kind of self-worth would you be carrying with yourself? Now, I want you to give yourself that right now. I know that you're not going to lose yourself if you walk past someone who's super famous. You're not going to devalue yourself or bring down your self-worth just because your number of followers, the numbers, right? It's the numbers game, is lower than somebody else's. Thank you guys so so much for watching until the end of this video. I hope that I helped to lift off this weight, this egotistical pain from your heart. And I just want to be a mirror to your greatness and for you to see the beauty and the value that you inherently have without people recognizing it or not. I think it's very important to talk about this stuff in a society where people are worshiping mega celebrities, where everyone's just out there to become famous regardless of the integrity behind it, regardless of what values they're actually standing for. So I really want to disrupt that pattern, and I want to say something new. And yeah, yes, there might be criticism about my point of view as well, and I totally acknowledge it. As I mentioned, I'm not here to say that fame is the bad thing in and of itself, but being a hollow shell and only chasing fame and only valuing fame in society is actually dangerous. It's going to put us in a very nasty position. I think that we should prioritize the substance that is magnified by fame, and we should always look for the message that's being amplified, not the amplification itself. I think that just makes sense to me, and that is my truth, and I'm here to talk about my own truth on my own channel. This is exactly what I encourage you to do, and start your own channel and talk about the things that matter to you. As a matter of fact, I've actually started coaching creatives who want to develop their authentic voice, and they want to launch their own platforms where they create art, where they create their own unique income streams, and they talk about the things that are authentically true to themselves. It does take a little bit of effort and audacity to put yourself in front of a camera or to say the thing that might upset a few people, but there's no way around it. There's no point in hiding, and I think everybody should come to a point where they're just expressing themselves without second guessing or without overthinking it. So if you need help with that, go to my website www.sadieelisa.com and click on the offers tab, and you'll see all the programs that I'm offering at the moment. I'm not sure how long I will be doing that, so make sure you book a spot. Thank you guys so much for staying with me on this journey. Until next time.